Hello, viewer. Welcome back to some more Let's Play Legacy of the Ancients. In the last episode, we acquired the funds necessary to make our exploration of the Pirate's Lair a bit easier than the last time we were here. Now, we may have gained some of that money through nefarious means, but I don't think any of you viewers will mind overly much. And thus, here we are, ready to head into the dungeon. I think without any further ado, let's go in. We'll talk a bit about what we're about to do, how we're in much better shape than we were the last time, take a look at our gear, and then get going. Yes, enter that dungeon. And it would help if you select the right thing. Now I have to look. Ooh, that's your character disc, Tim. No speaking as we descend. It takes a lot of concentration to climb down the ladder into this place. Alright, viewer, here we are. We have returned. Didn't go so well for us the first time. We have 2 sets of superb ringmail, 3 superb bladed staffs, and then some secondary weapons if we must fall back to one of them. Superb bladed club and a superb knife. We've got flames, bolts, psycho strengths, befuddle spells, and kill flashes. Let's start with a psycho strength. Here we go. Psycho strength improves our strength temporarily. We don't actually see the benefit of the increased strength. Like, we don't see a new number, but it is increasing the damage that we will deal. It will mention such whenever we strike a monster, that because we have this in effect, we're doing more damage. And we've been playing for 1,000 in-day games. Interesting. I feel like there should be something special about that. We've been in this world for, assuming just 365 days in a year? 3 years, just under. How about that? Anyway, here's our healing items, our healing herbs, 12 of them, and quite a few spells. We will probably be relying on a few magic flames as we go through this place. We'll talk more about magic as we begin casting it. We have 9 kill flashes, Tim. Alright, guys. So, armed with my maps, let's do it. I suppose you guys may have seen, since the last time we were here, that the Pirate's Lair, like all dungeons in the Legacy of the Ancients and Legend of Black Silver games I have played, are hallways. There's no rooms that we will enter. They are little labyrinths in nature, or I can't pronounce it. Labyrinthine, I think, is it? So we won't have the clearer room. We won't find any doors in the dungeon either that require opening. Let's kill this. The battle begins. And all the dungeons in Legacy of the Ancients consist of 8 floors, if I recall correctly. The first few times I had done the dungeons in these games, I did not make a map. It was only after about, I think it was my 2nd or 3rd year of playing these games, the final time through, that I decided I was going to finally map them out. Who would have guessed that I'd be using those maps some almost 40 years later? My goodness. That's how much I really enjoy this game series. I never played the Questron games, which were made by the same designers. The Dowdy Brothers, I think, was their name. They came out earlier in their life. I guess that's an accurate way to say it. They were Questron 1 and Questron 2 checking our six, as it were the first 2 games that they made. I believe Legacy here was the second. Uh-oh, hold on. Tim, you're lost. No. Okay. All right. I know where I am again. Okay. So that's panic-inducing. You do not want to get lost in one of these dungeons. The first few times I went through these, because I think I beat the game about 5 times in the first 2 years or so before I finally beat it for the 6th and final time. Well, I thought it was going to be the final time. All those many years ago. There's a way down to our right, but we'll keep going straight. This is a treasure chest here. There was a reason why I was talking about this. Knuckles. Oh my goodness, Tim, you are lucky they didn't just immediately break your weapon. Let's befuddle it. When a befuddle spell is in effect, all monsters in the dungeon will just sit there and not do anything. I don't know if the length of time that they're stunned for is variable, and I don't know if it increases with your intelligence. Okay, first, well, not the entirety of it, but most of the first floor has now been cleared. I consider a level cleared when I've grabbed all of the treasure that it possesses. We will be attempting to get every single treasure chest in this dungeon. This one's still paralyzed. Okay, let's cast a magic flame spell. We casted one of those before against the Screamer. And here in the dungeons, you fling them forward at all times when you cast one. The spells Magic Flame and Thunderbolt, they do more damage to the enemies the closer that the enemies are. I guess they lose potency or begin to fizzle out the greater the distance. So you really don't want to cast them at enemies that are more than 2 spaces away if you can. Alright, making a little bit of money. We could leave and come right back in, by the way, and we would have been able to re-loot all the treasure chests we just opened, but we're here for the Sapphire. It's not that difficult to make money if I'm willing to rob mints to get it. The monsters are moving again. Oh, okay. Something showed up from our left. This means we're pinned. So let's cast another befuddle spell. Hopefully it doesn't backfire. It did. Okay, this is bad. So we are now befuddled. Thankfully, in front of us is a nerve... I'll say nerve striker. It's a nerve streaker. You're befuddled. We shouldn't die to this. Maybe another 3 turns? It doesn't affect us as long as it would affect the monsters. Okay, hopefully this is it. Oh, 7 turns. 8 turns. Oh, wow! Are we go? Oh, okay, there we go. We're back. Oh, come on. Let's, flame the tendril? What are you? Knuckles. Let's bolt this. That was awful. We lost almost 200 hit points. We left a box over here. Let's go and open it. A strategy you can do in these dungeons is you can constantly... That's another tendril, I think. Let's cast another flame. Getting embarrassed by these things. You can cast befuddles over and over and over again. Like every about 12 turns or so, cast one. And you can probably get through most of, if not all of the dungeon, without encountering too much resistance. We're going to go this way and get another box. That was the one that held the compass in it. I think it's the first blue box you open on the second floor will possess the compass. You might... Yeah, do you hear that sound occasionally? That is the sound of water dripping in the dungeon. See if we can just hear it. There it was. Oh, good one. Still love it to this day. I think it's a very nice little effect to really draw to the attention that you are in a nasty place. Are we being chased? We are not. At least we weren't at that moment. I think I mentioned, but monsters do not have to turn. So, if you see a monster, your best bet is to deal with it at that point in some capacity. Like, if I was to now turn to the right, this creature moves up. Let's see. Let's see if I can show you that it can catch up with us. Yeah, see? It moved and turned. You never face a creature's back or sides. Now, when it comes to Psycho Strength, I was under the impression it improves your damage by a certain minimum maximum. But maybe... Oh, maybe it does exactly that. Or maybe it, like, adds some sort of multiplier to the damage you do. Because that's quite a spread of damage. I think we did 43 points so far as our maximum. But as little as 11. It's still worth casting it over not casting it. And we'll need to acquire about 3,000 or some odd gold to make up for all the spells we'll be casting in this place. If I was playing Black Silver, I would do the dungeon a second time. Here, though, I don't think we'll need to do that. Let's face it. Another Knuckles. Wow. Okay, we're lucky. That's not gonna be enough. I don't like fighting in a hallway like this. Because we're at a intersection. Well, a T-split. The amount of gold you get from the chest is 100% random. So, you're never sure what you're going to... Well, if it's gold the chest contains, there will be a random amount of it in it. Do we open this? Sure. Almost all the blue boxes inside the dungeons here will have health in them. I don't like being in an intersection. I'm going to kill the creatures as quick as possible. When the game pauses like that a little bit, I always suspect something has just gained vision on me. That's not the case there. Oh, climb? That was the wrong thing to say. There's a trap in front of us. We're gonna turn to the right. We're not going down there, but there's a trap down here. So I wanted to get it on our... Let's get it seen right now. Nice. 231 gold. Finally, a decent chest. Okay. Ooh. Sure. We'll try another befuddle. Okay. Another... What's with the knuckles ambushing us all the time? Our Psycho Strength spell expired, so we might as well cast another. I believe I promised a story about the Atari system. So before I begin telling it, you guys should know that I'm basing this on my recollection of what my father told me. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I am correct. At the very least, I remember the physical medium, so I can attest to some of its veracity. So here we go. So as you guys may or may not know, the Atari was another game system produced back in the 80s. From my recollection, we had a Atari 2600, I believe is what it was called. And it was not as powerful as a Commodore. We had the Atari first, though, before the Commodore. My family did one big move from a very small house, I think about the size of, or smaller than, my current house, where my parents, me, and my 3 brothers all live in a really small home, and we moved to a bigger home. I mention this only because I'm trying to think about how old I was when the Atari was around. I think I was like 7 at the time, and I was about 12 or so when we got a Commodore at our home. Okay, we're going to leave this box here, because we don't need the healing, and this box will then be here on our way back up in the dungeon, when we probably will want it. The Atari, and yes, it's that Atari, the company, the same company as far as I'm aware, they used to make a console in addition to making games. It was a cartridge-based system, or at least the version we had was. So it'd be similar to, say, the Super Nintendo. Actually, Super Nintendo was probably the most accurate. Or Nintendo 64? I think either of those are probably the closest to what the Atari would have kind of resembled in a way. I'm not going to bother describing the system. Just know it existed, and it was cartridge-based. This meant it would be kind of difficult, if not impossible, to do things like what we have here in the Commodore world, or at least back then. On the Commodore, there were disk read and writers, so you could take the data off a disk and put it onto another one. There was no way to prevent you from doing that. A great double mail! Wow! We'll stick with our ring mail, but that's a fantastic suit. Actually, we should wear that armor currently, but we'll go to our slightly worse armor when we're down a few floors. Where are you, Tim? Going north? Okay, I see where we are on the map. There's a trap right in front of us. Monsters, I suppose, I'll mention it, although I think you guys can see by now, they do not set off traps. No monster will set off any traps in this dungeon. Okay, let's pass. I do not know if the monsters get stronger as you... the certain types of monsters we're fighting right now will be present with us from levels 1 to level 4 in every dungeon here in Legacy of the Ancients. I do not know if they become stronger as we go down through the first floor levels. The creatures at levels 5 through 8 will be stronger than the ones we have fought above here. And that they'll do more damage and can take more hits. In addition to being more dangerous for other reasons. examine. Okay, we're going to step up, turn, back up. Then we're going to bolt it. Whew. We are in a dead end. Okay. We're going to step up a little bit. Turn to our right. There's a treasure chest down here. Also a trap. Oh. Oh! That's exactly what I've been trying to avoid having happen. So many of the monsters have been Knuckles. Alright, we lost our first bladed staff. The good news is that we now might find a weapon inside a chest that we can go ahead and utilize. If we lose another bladed staff, though, we'll have to use other weapons because we really want the bladed staff when we go down to the lower levels. It's a bit noobish of me. I should have casted a befuddle spell. Anyway, back to the Atari. So it's a cartridge system. So this meant, like, sharing games, making a copy, and then giving away the copies, was not something you could do. It also meant that you didn't have to worry about, like, too much in the way of copy protection or what have you for those cartridge games, because no one's going to be able to copy them. But this didn't stop the group my father worked with from figuring out a way to do it. They were a group of computer programmers, my father and the people he worked with, working for Bell Laboratories, and they found a way in which to... How did that start? Okay, so hold on a second. So you have to understand something about the cartridges first. The cartridges were a giant case around what effectively is a single microchip contained within it. This microchip is about an inch to an inch and a half in length, and about maybe half an inch, maybe a little smaller than that in width. And their height is even less than that, maybe like an eighth of an inch or a fourth of an inch. On the sides of them, there's all these little, I'm going to call them legs. Imagine like a caterpillar, a really small, fat caterpillar. Well, fat's the wrong way to describe it. A centipede? A centipede is probably a better way to describe it if you've never seen one of these microchips before. All these little teeth on the sides of the chip. They found a way to... Well, they discovered that they could take apart the cartridge and then take out the chip. They designed their own cartridge, their own chip readers, and the games were either 1 or 2 chips on the inside. So they designed 2 of their own cartridges. They then were able to take the data out of the chip, copy it to other chips that they had, and then they would reseal the cartridge and then no. They didn't bring... I think in the past when I told this story, I mentioned that they would then return the game. But no, they would keep the game they purchased in case they had to make more copies of it for other reasons. But you could... Instead of them having to have all of these cartridges that they passed around, there was a box of microchips instead. And you would also gain these two microchip readers. And so, if you wanted to join the group, you had to buy 2 or 3 Atari games to contribute to the group, and then you'd get a copy of all the games that they had all purchased, and then your games would be added to that collection. Pretty ingenious for the time. I don't know a way to describe the chips better. I apologize if what I'm saying doesn't make much sense to you, but it's pretty interesting that they discovered a way to do this. I suppose these days we have people like them to thank for being able to play these old games on various emulators and what have you, right? It's like this game, for example. Oh, hold on a second. Speaking of which, we should play this game a little more. Where am I? We're in level 4? Oh, okay. I see where we are. I think. Oh! I do see where we are. We don't want to be here. This is the wrong way down. Something I really liked about this game and Black Silver was that not every passage down was correct. In this instance, you'd think these lead to the same place, but they lead to very different places indeed. This is the right part of level 4. Some of these levels require you going up to go down, to go up to go down more permanently. Black Silver had quite a few of those. This time we're going to play it safe and cast a befuddled spell. Creatures cannot use their special attacks on you if you are not looking at them. They really want to see the horror in your eyes when they shatter that weapon of yours. When it comes to dungeons, when I've made them for Dungeons and Dragons, I tend to try to figure out realistically, which is a weird thing to say when it comes to something like Dungeons and Dragons, but like why certain creatures might be there. Is it like if there's like you're not gonna have a room and then put just a dragon in it? There's gotta be a reason why that thing is there and so on. And another thing I've always tried to do is make sure that it's just not endless amounts of combat inside a dungeon. That there's empty rooms that might have some history. There's miscellaneous things for you to find when you're in there exploring. Maybe some puzzles, some treasure rooms, traps, and of course monsters, which is what every adventurer wants to go and see for the most part. I mention that because here, most of this is going to be labyrinthine, I mispronounced that, tunnels with traps, treasure, and creatures. But we don't have any puzzles here aside from the sheer navigation of these dungeons. And they did a great job on making these dungeon levels feel a bit unique to each other and making them very confusing, some of them. Ooh. We will cast another befuddle for this. What are you? Night Stalker. Okay, let's see. We go out here. Turn around and get a fair-leaded club. Okay, that's a shame. I was just talking about getting other weaponry. Unfortunately, that is not, I would not consider that a better weapon. It is not possible for us to drop it either, so that's something we'll have to sell when we get back. Ooh! I'm gonna turn. I don't think I've ever fought more than 3 creatures in a row in this game, whenever I've had to sit and fight multiples of them coming down from one corridor. Oh! Immediately hit open, and we have a nerve strike speaker in front of us. Okay, we should cast Psycho Strength. In this game, to my recollection, the traps only hurt you. I don't think there's any special effects of the traps. But in Black Silver, they could do different things. Some traps might paralyze you. Others might destroy your armor, for example. And the creatures in Black Silver were more varied with the types of things they could do. There was a great deal more special effects that the monsters there were capable of performing. Okay, let's turn to the west. Okay, I see where I am. Alright, viewer. We are now on level 5. We're about to fight some new creatures. Let's see if I can remember what they're called. Ooh, behind! Really? That's a dead end. Interesting. That must mean that the monsters can walk through walls or something of that sort. I'd always wondered if that could be the case. Mr. Potato! Hello, Mr. Potato. Yep, Mr. Potato. Oh, he's hard to hit today. He's not even moving. You're kidding me. Okay. That's super awkward. We must have been horrified. You turn around and see that staring at you? I was watching someone play through a game I don't own called The Classrooms. And there's this horrific Naga-looking creature in it. That is absolutely... It looks wonderful. I am very impressed with how far we've come when it comes to things like the horror games in particular. First horror game I guess I played would have been Haunted House on the Atari. I can't remember a whole lot of horror games on the Commodore 64. And horror is a bit of a wrong way to describe it. It's not like it had any jump scares, but it was a bit unnerving to walk around that house. Oh man, I remember the sound effects going up and down stairs. Boom, dun, 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 dun. Wow, my goodness. Good times. Good times. We apparently also went the wrong way, more or less, to start. Actually, we wanted those treasure chests, so not really a waste. But now we're going back to the tunnels that we came down here from. Am I not being chased? How many spells do we have left, by the way? 10 befuddles only. Okay, we're gonna have to make them count. Oh, darn it. I was looking down at my map. So that's a blue lion. This is, I believe, the creature that is on the actual, I'll call it cover art, though I don't think that's, it was, actually, no, I think that is accurate. The cover art of the game. This is a giant slug, and this thing can eat our armor. We're gonna bolt these wherever we find them. And that was 3 creatures, and yet, once again, we don't get another one who's all lined up waiting to eat us. Oh, Tim, pay attention. You're looking at the map, or you're not looking at the map. Don't get hit by another trap. That's embarrassing. You mark down where these traps are on your map, so that you don't actually end up in any of them. Going this way. Lots of slugs. go, getting quite a bit of cash. So far, we have not spent the amount of money that we've picked up. Oh, viewer, would you know, or would you believe that the very first time I did a dungeon, I did not realize examine revealed traps? So I blundered through every single trap in the dungeon. My very first time through one. There's a heal box here. Oh! That is the worst monster in the game. That is a dangler. The danglers, I will never swing at one with my weapon. I will always kill flash or bolt or magic flame them to death. They have a special attack which allows them to lower either your constitution, your endurance, or your dexterity. I do not want to redo those training exercises for fear of the length of time it takes and potentially not improving myself at all. Okay, so we can go down there. Let's do it. Let's do it. Okay, we must be facing east. We are, okay. Almost there, viewer. By there, I mean the last level. Still to navigate through it in order to find the treasure at the very bottom of the place. Just a dead end over there. A circular area to our right. There's a heal box there and a trap, but we don't need the heal that badly to spend time going and getting it. There's a hole in the ceiling here. Right, not being chased. Something could have come right down from the ceiling at us. We don't need that heal. Ooh! Topaz coin. That's another native currency, potentially. Or we could hold on to it in order to spend it on the... Oh, no, the flower, the tulip, is a jade coin, Tim. Ooh! Behind. So we're going to befuddle. Dangler. We could have rolled around, and it could have immediately done a special attack. Just like how the Knuckles didn't waste any time in shattering our one weapon. We'll take this. It's a treasure chest I'm leaving. We'll maybe come back for it later. Ooh! Green slime or slime weird? Nope, slime wart. Still befuddled. We're gonna go up to this next right and get this treasure chest. Let's go get another chest. All the way down here and to the left. We're not being followed. Or we weren't at the point where we turned around to check. Trap in front of us. There's a box up that passage there, but there's nothing else there. And we don't need the healing. 348 gold. That was a rich chest indeed. Glad we went that way. And to our right. And then up ahead, there's a passage down. Ooh! We're gonna move up and climb down. The creature is now directly above us. Oh! And we have something else behind us. Let's... Oh, man. We gotta befuddle. Unless it followed us down. At the same time, it might have. I don't think it works that way. Dangler. Hello, glad. Befuddled. I don't feel the need to use a kill flash if they're not moving. There's a pit right in front of us. We will climb down. And there's a treasure chest behind us. Climb back up. Okay. We will have quite a few traps. Huh. I have no treasure chests written on this level, so either they didn't exist, or I forgot to put them on it. We're going to go straight, turn to our left, go this way. All right. Let's talk about something else, viewer. What can we talk about? What are some other games that have come out that I've never played and that have quite a cult following? I've never played any of the Wizardry. That's a Raker Brute. That's a Blue Lion. Okay, we will use a Befuddle. There's nothing up ahead. Good for me remembering this thing, the name of it. It's quite a magnificent sword it's got. It's flexing that right arm, too. There's a heal box up ahead. Yep. Yeah, there are no treasure chests on this level. Interesting. That's the Blue Lion. No, it's not, Mr. Potato. Where'd you come from? Have we seen all the monsters now? I think so? I'll have to, I mean, obviously, if we see a new thing, that will tell me how true that statement is. Okay, the Blue Lion isn't chasing us, huh? And we made it, viewer, to level 8. All right. There's going to be quite a bit of twisty passages here to start. I'm going to try a bolt. Good. Kill flashes are expensive, but it's annoying to have to regain all the statistics if we lose them. Alright, so I've never played the Wizardry series, and I've heard lots of people have fond memories of that one. I've never played any of the Ultimas, with the exception of 7, and Ultima Underworld 1 and 2. 2 I only played through with GOG. We never owned it when I was young for the PC. But I did play through I got to the very end in the first Ultima Underworld, but I didn't know what was required of me to actually destroy the demon at the very end, or I was impatient as a youngin' and never managed it. We will leave you here, blue box. We do not need you. Not being followed. Now, nothing stops you from rounding a corner like this, turning to the left, and there being a dangler right there. Like that. Only it wasn't exactly one space away from me. That would then immediately decide to attack you using its special attack. We haven't seen that happen yet. That would be how funny would that have been if what I was trying to describe there actually came to pass as I was describing it. Would have been a real nightmare. I don't like having my stats decrease, especially in a dungeon. Oh, a small break from other things we're talking about, viewer, whatever they were. I don't remember at the moment. Oh, we'll have to use a befuddle, because I don't know what that is. Another giant slug. Our psycho strength expired. Mr. Potato. We might as well deal with it. It's going to chase us. This thing reminds me of the, what was it called? I mean, it's a different color altogether. There was a fighter in Samurai Showdown. Jian? A goblin-like creature was its name. Had a claw as a weapon. For some reason, that thing reminds me of it. And I was just about to talk about something else, and viewer, I'm having a senior moment because I can't remember what on earth I would want to talk about. So let's just do this. We're almost at the end, viewer, of level 8. Almost there. This is it. The hallway we've been looking for. Let's go to the very, very end of it. Turn around. I'm going to turn. Okay. That was me like, oh man, I'm running out of befuddle spells. So I'd rather not use one there, but realistically, that's the time you want to use them. 6 befuddle spells left. You find a jeweled crown. One of the 2 items the caretaker wants us to find. The sapphire coin that was alluded to in the exhibit. These chests will have nothing in them, if I recall correctly, if you come back down here to do the dungeon again. The rest of these, I think, are just money? And not very much of it. Okay. I think we might have missed one chest. Otherwise, that's it. So let's make our way back out of here. What other games with dungeons in them did you play, Tim? Because you loved exploring dungeons in games when you were young. And even to this day, I suppose. The more maze-like a thing is, the more I like the level design. Well, it depends. For dungeons, I like getting lost because I have an excellent sense of direction. So it's difficult for me to actually get lost in the games I play. So, sorry, viewer, I'm having a moment. I don't know where I am on the map. Okay, now I know. So, I don't know if they would be considered dungeons, but Pool of Radiance? The Gold Box games. Oh. We're gonna befuddle. Good thing we did. We have to deal with it or it chases us. Looks like it might be of Slimer from Ghostbusters, this thing. You know what? When did Ghostbusters come out? I don't remember when it was released. The movie. The first one. I'm going to assume that Ghostbusters came out before this game did. And the slime wart might have been a nod to that game. It is called a slime wart after all, and the green ghost was called Slimer. Okay. Oh, most of the boxes now we can open our way back up. Oh, what's the other thing that's inside the blue boxes, Tim? You mentioned that most of the time it has healing. What's the other thing could be? Food. I think occasionally they might have food in them. I'm facing south? Okay. Oh, it just occurs to me, the slime wart's packing a 6-pack. I guess if you are able to shape your form as you like, you know, you might as well show off your amazing abs. I don't think I ever noticed that before. That's pretty funny. It's a really tough, no-nonsense slime wart. There's another one. Yeah, it looks to me like they have a 6-pack. Okay, goodbye, level 8. Where are we going? I think we will swing. Do I want to make a deviation for a box? We have to go this... Okay, let's turn and back up. This might have been the blue line we left behind before. It looks like it's holding out its hand like it wants us to check it on its nail polish. Okay. Let's try to go back this way now. Another blue lion. Oh. I'm going to kill Flash. We haven't had a fizzle in a while. I have a bad feeling that the next one we were going to do there was going to fizzle. All the way until the trap. Turn and move. Sorry, viewer. I have to concentrate now, apparently. I have to constantly be glancing down at that map. But I don't want to accidentally bump into a dangler by only staring at the map. I don't know why I did that. We've already walked over all the traps that we would have walked over. Because we had to come this way to get down as far as we did, Tim. I do always enjoy games that make you walk out of the dungeon that you went into. If it's not, well, let's say too obnoxious, but this game, you guys, I suppose you could consider it to be that. But it's a nice challenge, I feel. Not only do you have to get down there, you need to be a little frugal with how many boxes you open. Do you want to heal 30 hit points now, or potentially more than 100 on the way back up? Okay. Once again, 3 creatures in a row, and then no others immediately after that. Oh! Tim, read part 6. Okay. Okay. Wait, where am I? Uh-oh. Okay. I am indeed on level 6. We left a treasure chest. In this area. Oh! Oh my goodness! So that's what I don't want to have happen, is I stare down at the map to actually bump into a dangler. Come on, Tim. Be better than this. This is the chest. This is not the chest. Then this is it. Okay. I think there's a small handful of chests way back up at level 1. But otherwise, we've seen what there is to see. Oh, no, that's not true. There's some left, I think, on level 4? Or 5. Let's climb up. Okay, it's this floor. We have 2 chests we didn't open. For some reason, finding gold in this game in these chests is so satisfying. The sound of the chest opening and seeing the gold letters that says gold, it makes you feel like so rich. In Black Silver, there were special items you could find in some of the chests. Statues or what have you, and they wouldn't be there again when you arrived the second time. That's odd. My map says there's a treasure chest here, but there is not. Playing with fire quite literally there, Tim. Could have gotten you in a lot of trouble. We're not coming back this way. Pirates went really out of their way to store their treasures in this location. Oh! Oh no! Okay. Oh, thank God. What I've been saying, I'm scared of happened right there. Thankfully, the game was forgiving, and we didn't see the special attack of this thing. Tim, come on. Come on. Where am I? We just face north into dead end? Okay, I think we are. climbing up here? Yes. Okay. Whew. Thank goodness. We can now wear our amazing great double mail and get out of this dungeon. Might lose another bladed staff on our way out, but that's much better than losing statistics. Never been a fan of... Actually, stat drain, I don't mind. If it's not permanent in games. When I'm a dungeon master, my players do not have to worry about me draining their statistics permanently. And I loathe experience point drain or level drain in the old Dungeons and Dragons games. Who thought that was a good idea? That's a that's a bookkeeping nightmare. And players hate that. It's so... I've never been a fan of it. And I can't think of any players that I've DM'd for who have liked that idea either. We're not coming back. So every blue box we pass by is getting it open. It's much faster to get out. You have less chests to open. Less blue boxes. And less examining to do. Ooh! Oh, hello! You know, it certainly did look like you came out of nowhere, didn't it? Maybe I'm wrong. Oh, and they can just materialize out of thin air. That's nightmarish. I'm gonna go with it came out of the hole in the ground. Once again, there was one close by to where that creature just seemed to spawn. Oh, there might be a chest here that we... Oh! Tim, that's a Knuckles. There might be a chest I left here. There is one. Ooh, 308 gold, too. Quite a bit to leave behind. Something I like about in this game is that as you get things done, you do feel quite a bit more powerful than your previous self had been. Our poor little peasant would never have been able, and in fact did not do this successfully, right? The first time that we were here. But now, having gained quite literally the experience needed, 2 levels higher, and quite a few more supplies, we're not having any real trouble. Not coming back. In the Black Silver game, the first dungeon was perhaps one of, if not the most difficult one, because you didn't have access to the ability to heal yet, like healing potions or whatever they were called in that game. You might be able to get 2 in your inventory if you didn't use them when you helped free the castle from the orcs. Where am I here? Level 2. Okay, I see. That meant that you had to do that dungeon without any healing, except for the urns in that game were what healed you. The blue boxes held special events that would either raise your stats or lower them. we're going straight down to... There were 2 chests here. We being chased? We are being chased. Not winning Tendra Sniper. What's a Tendra, do you think? And why is it snapping them? Once again, 3 in a row. Okay, so... we're gonna go this way. And we're almost out. Okay, level 1. We'll pick up the last of the chests, and viewer, we are done with the Pirate's Lair. Still don't quite know what this thing's supposed to be. Like, I can't get a good view of... Is this a face? Or just a shadow? With a giant eyeball in the front. Being chased. Whoa! Where did you come from? There was no, oh. There was no hole in the ground there, so maybe I've been wrong all these years about monsters not materializing in front of you. That is, I think, the last treasure chest? We should be able to cast another Psycho Strength. We're almost out of the dungeon. That's the box close to the exit. And there it is. Let's head on out. And be rewarded for this. Plus 10 strength. All right. I really wanted that before we went to the castle, since I want to do more damage to the guards there with our physical attacks. Oh, it does occur to me, viewer, that you can save the game whenever you would like in here by hitting E for end. I've never done it. I save outside the dungeons, but you can do it, obviously. I guess if you need to leave, it would suck if you committed yourself to doing a dungeon, but something comes up and you just can't save the game. There's a few games that are out these days, which could probably benefit from something like that. Anyway, I'm babbling. We're done with the Pirate's Lair. Thank you guys for watching. We're going to stop here. When we come back, we will spend that Sapphire coin, and we'll go ahead and replenish our supplies. We'll stop by the exhibit and talk with the caretaker in case he can level us up again. And then at the castle will be our next stop. So maybe I'll see you guys then. Take care, everyone. And thanks again for watching. Figure out how to stop the recording.